Hey everybody, I'm Shawn at webpianoteacher.com. How are you doing? Well, we're doing the most requested artist that I've ever done over the past 20 years on YouTube, and that is Elton John. I have something like 80 songs on my website at this point. But it's been a great ride. This is a great one if you really love Elton John and you want to learn how to play how he plays. He has a particular style that he does, and a lot of those beginner concepts can be learned in this song. So let's take a listen what we got here. This is Into the Old Man's Shoes, Elton John. This is a demo version, okay? So you get a lot of piano stuff you don't normally get in the demo. So here we go. There's one more line we're going to do as well. Let me get back up here to the top. Well, so it's going to be a lot of fun. And if it sounded hard, it's just, I was playing forte there, so maybe that's made it sound hard. It's not really as hard as it sounds. It's one of those that, doesn't take as much as it sounds like it's taking. And it's a great one to get introduced to Elton John. Don't be afraid of the flats. Flats are just getting used to playing flats. So welcome to my studio. If you haven't ever seen any of my lessons, I'm this wacky guy who's been on YouTube for 20 years, had my website for 20 years, and I teach a different style, a different method. It's a lot like music notation, but then it's not. It's also like playing by ear. It's also like playing by chord. I kind of combine all three of those things. And a lot of people find that my little wacky method here worked for them. And once they get started on the website, that's all they do. So if that's you, you can try out my website. It's only $1 to try everything on the website for 7 days. No obligation, cancel anytime. There's no tricks there. And that little special has been doing bonkers for me. So try it out. Anyway, let's get going. You're going to get the full part one here, okay? We're going to go through the whole first page. And if you're on the website as a member, you can download my sheets for this, okay? There's like, 7, 8 sheets, something like that. Can't remember. But here we go. Here's the intro. All right, so as you can see that I kind of follow traditional music notation, that there's a right hand on top, left hand on the bottom. My last edition that I've done is I've been lightly putting this staff behind there. People have liked that too, but it's not that much different than notation. You read from left to right. I mark the measures out. We're going to have two measures, two beats in a measure. 1, 2, 1, 2. That kind of a feel. Okay. And what Elton does is he'll play a chord and he'll just kind of vamp on that chord. All right, Beethoven kind of did the same thing. He would take a chord and make a pattern out of it that was a melody and then use it for the whole symphony, or the whole movement of the symphony. Elton John's similar in that way in his piano styling. So A flat on the left hand. Now flat just means go to the left. All right, so here's A flat. We're way down here. All right. Right hand's A flat chord, A, C, E, A flat, C, E flat, A flat. I'm going to use 1, 2, 3, 5. All right. So when you play a big chord like this, make sure that after you play it, your elbows kind of go out and you relax. You don't want tension. Don't go, and then just, hold it. A lot of people are just tense in their shoulders, tense in their whole mechanism. So when you play a chord, relax. You see classical piano players when they play their elbows, and you think, oh, they're just being fancy. Well, yeah, but it makes it easier to play. You got to release that tension so you're not tight. You want to flow with the music, and to do that, you can't be really tight. The rest of the notes in that measure are just the A flat chord. So there's your first lesson there on Elton John's playing. Is he'll play a chord, and the rest of the measure is just a playing of the same notes that are already in the chord, okay? And we're going to see that as we go along. So A flat chord to start with, and the little dash is just kind of the way I write an eighth note, 1 and a 2 E, and then we have a curved line for the 16th notes. Most people just listen to my rhythm and copy the rhythm. A flat, C, A flat, E flat, A flat, E flat. But you see how all of those are the notes I already played. Welcome to Elton John. That's what he does. Okay? So when you play it, when you do that arpeggiated chord, make sure your elbow is free and that there's kind of a circle rotation when we're playing arpeggiated chords. Stay loose. loose. Don't do this. Don't go. A lot of people play that way, and they feel like, oh, I got to keep my fingers on the keys, and you can. So much better, though, if you can be loose, okay? There's the first chord. Move to the second chord. Make sure you can play the first one, A flat. Go to the next chord, all right? We keep A flat on the bass. All right, some people say I talk a lot, and I do because that's what you do when you're a teacher, okay? Because you talk a lot and you tell people things they need to hear. Okay, G, B flat, E flat, G, 1, 2, 4, 5. I'm using a fourth finger. A lot of you resist that fourth finger. Don't scoot your third finger over and do that. Learn to use that fourth finger, okay? A flat still on the bass. So this is an E flat over an A flat bass is how you write that. Have you ever seen a chord symbol and it says, it looks like a fraction, you know? That's what it means. It means the bottom of the fraction, the denominator part, is the left-hand octave. And the top part is the right-hand chord. The bottom one's an octave, the top one's the chord. And it's just a mixture of the two. The A flat's not really considered part of the E flat chord, okay? It's just what we call a pedal note on the bottom. G, B flat, E flat, G. If you pick that chord out, you can see it's E flat, G, B flat. It's in an inversion, okay? That's why E flat's not on the bottom. Now, we still have a chord pattern. Somebody plays that chord pattern differently. Vintage Elton John. So it's different than this one. He doesn't go, could have, but he does. On this one, he goes, so a lot of the Elton John style is rhythmic variation on the chord you're already playing. See that? And I still let my wrist stay very free. Both measures, watch from the side. Very free, very loose. As soon as you play, release that tension. If you learn that early on, you'll save yourself a lot of trouble. You can actually have physical problems with your mechanism, your hands, your fingers, if you tendonitis and all that, if you don't learn how to relax at the piano, because we learn tension and then it's hard to get rid of it once we've been doing it. A flat, E flat, what's the next chord? D flat. I like to talk about chords as we're going along. Say, where you teach theory? I do have theory lessons on the side, but I like to teach theory in the songs. Why not apply it to the stuff we're actually playing that we're enjoying playing? That's why we learn it in the first place, music theory. So D flat chord is our 4 chord, A flat's 1. E flat was the 5 chord, D flat's the 4 chord. I don't know if the 4 chord. I don't know if I said that right earlier. All right, that 8 there means I'm going to play it an octave lower. Instead of here, I'm going to play it here. It's just a notation device to, make it easier to notate. So I don't have to write D's way down there, okay? D flat, octave, F, A flat, D flat, F. You can use a 3 or a 4 on that one, okay? Here's the pattern. So this pattern is like that one, okay? It's a D flat chord, but the pattern is just like the E flat one, okay? You say, what do you do with your left hand? That's not written in there. Well, that's called vamping, and it's a really easy technique to learn. You just have to start doing it. Just play that octave not as loud as you do the first time on the first beat, but continue to play it wherever you want to, the pinky or the thumb. You say, well, which one? I'm not going to tell you that because Elton John doesn't think of that. I don't think of that. People that just play an Elton John style or their own style don't think of that. They just kind of get used to putting that, those notes in there on the left hand whenever they want to. And that's what you need to learn is the skill of that, not what I'm doing in one particular moment of time right here, because that's not going to teach you the skill. And I'm trying to teach you to fish, okay? I'm not just going to give you a fish. And it would be so complicated if I wrote all the left. Didn't you have to match them all up? Just vamp. I'll do it no right hand. Okay, and I'm just kind of making it up, which you'll make it up if you just get in there and try. Just jump in the water and try. Make sure you change the pedal on each one. Are you doing that? Are you holding the pedal down and it's blurring and sounding like a big train wreck? So don't do that. The next measure is another D flat chord. That's where da-da-da-da-da-da, okay? This is kind of hard right there to play all 4 notes. You can leave off the bottom one and go little trick, okay? If you can play all four, we're going to do that because I'm transcribing what Elton John actually played. That's kind of my claim to fame here, is that I transcribe what's actually being played on the album. That's why a lot of people come to my lessons. They don't want a rendition of it. They don't want elevator music, melody in the right hand. They want what Elton John's actually playing, and that's what I give you. Low D flat 8, and also for the E flat. So D flat, E flat chord once we get here. We can see here we have the A flat of the chord you just played. Then he has the whole chord that we played right here, the D flat chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, bop, bop. And then we go to the E flat chord that we learned right here. So we're just repeating the 1, 4, and 5 chord that we already learned in the first few measures. Bop, 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 bop. Now when you play that, those chords, don't use your whole arm to do it, okay? Use your wrist, a flappy wrist. See that? My arm's not coming up at all. I'm not doing this. I'm exaggerating there. I'm just going. And that's what you want to do is just, and as soon as you play that last G, you relax your hand. We're back. That's why people who have a good technique can play all day because their hand isn't getting tired because they rest it constantly. Okay, I could do a dumbbell, a 20-pound dumbbell all day if I get rest. But if I never let it go, then yeah, my muscle's going to get tired no matter how strong I am. Okay, give it that rest. Then we start over. We go back to the A flat measure. Now, as you're practicing, so you want to make sure that you have a system to practice. And this is the system I've always used. Left hand, right hand, put them together. Repetitions, good repetitions. And then once you learn that measure, go to the next measure. Only do that next measure, learn it, and then tie the two together. Try measure 1 and measure 2. And then you can go to the third measure, do the same thing. So you're just building a chain, okay? So as you're going through this, that's how you should practice. So let's say you practiced and you spent a couple of days on this first line, which is what'll be for some people. Now I try all the way to here. So I start. Notice I played my left hand. I'm not going to write it all out because that's just a vamping thing. Change the pedal there when you go to E flat. Now we've started that beginning again, but it's different, right? Ba, 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 ba. So the chord is the same, the idea is the same, but Elton plays this. Da, 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 da. Guarantee you, in the moment, he just did that. This is a demo version, which you get a lot of the stuff. And look, when you look it up on YouTube, make sure you do demo. And you get a lot of cool stuff that you don't get in the album version, all right? So C, A flat, E flat, A flat, C, A flat, bop, 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 bop. Whenever you see the dash, that's the 8th note, you're holding it. Then the 16ths are the curved lines. Okay? Then you try the whole line. And then when you're ready, move on to the second one. Take a little break, okay? That's another little lesson. Take a break. I'm going to use this other camera because I'm proud of our studio. I love my studio. I love being here in this chair and playing on the, nice piano that I have and the new screen. Well, it's not new anymore, but I love the digital stuff. Back in the day, I had an actual whiteboard and I wrote with ink markers, and I still have those lessons on the website. People still use them to this day because the information is still good, right? The music hasn't changed. I love, all our albums we got up and just the 70s vibe. That was a great time to grow up. Although I'm kind of more of an 80s kid, but 80s, 90s, but yeah, the 70s is a cool vibe here to have in the studio. Now, we just took a little break, okay? And that's what you want to do. Learn to take little breaks just to reset your brain. Then you go back. And it can be 30 seconds. Just take a drink. Take just some flavored water. And take a little break, and then come back. You can get up. Go to the fridge or something, and then get a little snack. Come back and play. Then you need breaks that are longer than that, maybe a couple hours. But the breaks really help you to reset. Get a small section that you can play well. That's much better than trying too much and stinking at it. And the reason you stink at it because you tried too much, or you're trying a song that's too hard. Okay, you can't skip over all the intermediate stuff. You can't do that. I'm sorry. You got to start. You got to play all the easier, beginner stuff like everyone else has to, like I had to. And the thing is, there's lots of easier songs that aren't that hard. So take the Beatles, for example. They could just chord. That's all. So anything that's more complicated than that on the album, somebody else was playing it. So a lot of easy, Let It Be, for example, Hey Jude. There's lots of songs that just have those. Piano Man by Billy Joel, if you take out the intro and the solo, it's a pretty easy song to play. Play lots and lots of easy stuff or stuff that's in your wheelhouse. That's how you get better, okay? That's very important you do that. So we took a little break. Now we're trying the second line. Going out to Tombstone, whatever the lyrics are there. I know Bernie Taupin, his lyricist forever. Love the Old West, and definitely Old West feel in the lyrics of this one. So what are we doing? We continue the phrase, and we have our E flat over A flat again. But the rhythm is bop, 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 bop. Got that? Practice it. Get it down. And we'll learn the next measure. Notice I picked a new starting place. I'm working on the second line because I'm learned the first one. Now I'm going to start on the second one. Don't play the first line and have this tremendous hurdle or this tremendous bar level for yourself that you have to be so perfect at it before you go on. Don't do that. Be able to give yourself, an 85 and then on it, and then you can move on. It'll get better, but don't stay too long on the first line. So, go into D flat with the low bass. We already know that chord. We learned it in the line above. Got it? Make sure you stay loose. Use the side camera so you can see the elbow, how loose I'm trying to stay. This little marking here is a 16th rest for those of you who wonder about music notation. Those of you who know music notation know exactly what that is. Okay. All right. And I find that my way of notating here is much better and lends itself much better to this style of playing. Teaching people how to play like Elton John. What's going through Elton John's mind, I want that to go through your mind. Okay, he's not writing in all the little bass notes and reading sheet music. He's playing on the spot. He knows what the chords are, and that's what we're going to do here. So we have our A flat chord, A flat bass, and then we go to the E flat chord. But by this time, we've done a couple of those little patterns, so you can. And he's playing less because he's singing now. And whenever you're singing, you don't want so much piano. A couple of reasons there for that. One, your voice is the most important thing. And I don't care how good you are, the more piano you play, the less you can attend to your voice, how you sound. And the vocal line is most important. So play less when you're singing so that the voice does the best that it possibly can. Second reason is that playing too much will get in the way of the voice. It'll actually kind of cover it up. So if you're accompanying someone, stop playing so much once they come in and sing, okay? Then there'll be spaces where you can fill in when they take a breath. We kind of went faster on this line because we already knew the chords. We've only had 3 chords so far. Okay, so let's look at the last line here on this first page. Whoop, it cut out on me. I must not have it plugged in all the way. It'll come on. There we go again. 1 and 2. Might have to get me a new connector because it's kind of cutting out. My connector is pretty old, over 10 years, so I think I need a new connector. All right, D flat, 1, 2. We already know this, okay? It's a little bit different than the other ones, but you can see how it's working. 2, and. So 1, 2, 1, and a 2, E, and 1, 2, 1. And he doesn't go down to the low D flat on these because I guess he's singing and it's a little too heavy. So we just stay up on this high D flat. Back to another phrase. Na, 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 na. Okay. Another thing Elton will do is he'll play that fifth in the middle. Sometimes on the A flat, on the D flat. Sometimes he'll play that second finger on the fifth. So those of you who are more advanced can do that a little bit if you want. And if you've played a lot of my Elton John transcriptions, you know about that fifth already. So same stuff right here, D flat, 2 and 1. Ba ba, D flat, C. So the bass is moving down to B flat. We'll see that on the second page when we get on the website and finish it out. But remember, $1, you can finish the whole thing. No obligations, 7 days. If you're new, you can do that. So let's try the whole page. So as you're practicing and doing the chain thing, eventually the whole page becomes what you can do. And again, don't make each line, don't try to make 100, okay? Just an 85. You can give yourself an 85, a grade of 85. Little pauses between measures, that's okay. Everybody does that until they learn it well. But you want to move on. Don't get stuck on one part because your standards are too high. All right. We're going to try the whole page. I've zoomed out so that I can see the whole thing. I know it's small there, but if you download the sheet, you can do what you want and zoom in yourself. To the next page. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed that lesson. I tried to give you a lot of help there in Elton John's styling. Hope to see you on the website, and we'll finish it in many other Elton John songs. You could spend a lifetime playing all his repertoire of his songs, as I have done. So enjoy it. See you guys later. Thanks a lot.